Well, this is the time of the year when the big boys of summer really start to get serious after the All-Star game. Teams like the Boston Red Sox, the Chicago White Sox, the Smithfield Blue Sox, right? The Smithfield Blue Sox. Steve, who are these guys?
Smithfield Blue Sox are a long-standing tradition. I mean, you talk about Pioneer Day coming up, and they're not far behind Pioneer Day when it comes to baseball in the state of Utah.
Yeah, so you've been out there and checking it out. What's it like out there in the community?
Smithfield, Utah, in the summertime is a special place because of the Blue Sox. It sounds a little bit trite to talk about a baseball team having that much influence in a community, but it's true. And to start the story, let's go back 1 week ago, Friday.
It's a Friday evening in July in Smithfield. Farm country where most of the chores are finished for another week, and it's time to head into town. At the main theater, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure attracts the town's younger folks, but a few blocks away, the longest-running show in Smithfield is getting ready for another performance.
Okay, let's play ball.
As far as I'm concerned, Smithfield Blue Sox in the summertime is the best thing in Cache Valley.
It's somewhere right around 90 years to 100 now since they've had organized baseball in Smithfield continuously, so we kind of figure we might have maybe the oldest program west of the Mississippi of this type.
This type means semi-pro, where the players, usually 18 and older, don't get paid to play a 60-game schedule. It used to be in Utah, and particularly the Cache Valley, that almost every town had a team, but over the years the numbers dropped and the interest waned. But not in Smithfield, where America's pastime is far more than a phrase.
We have some loyal supporters that come and park their cars before 2 or 3 hours before the ball game, and everybody knows in the valley about the Blue Sox.
And everybody knows Kimber Hall will go down in Blue Sox history as one of the team's greats. He's retiring at the end of the summer, his 16th summer in a Smithfield uniform.
There's a high fly ball back to second base. And the second sacker has it for out number 3.
Willis Hall is in his 16th year as public address announcer at the home games.
There's a ground ball to the pitcher, and he made a good stop. That old kid reached the country mile to get that. If you like that, folks, let him know about it.
He tells you more than most announcers, more than who's up and who's on deck. But Willis Hall is just like the rest of the Smithfield supporters. He gives a little more. He does a little more.
Ground ball foul down the right field line.
But no one man has done more for the Sox than manager Richard Hansen. 27 years ago, he got the job full-time. He'd managed some games a couple years before that, 10 years after he first became a Blue Sox. That was 39 years ago.
Another fellow and myself used to kid about it that we come on about the middle of the season that one year, and we was lucky we got in 2 ball games. We was just glad to have a uniform be on the bench, you know. Kids are not quite that diehard anymore.
But Richard Hansen is.
Oh, Richard Hansen's a guy that's baseball crazy.
Crazy ever since those summer nights some 50 years ago when Richard fell in love with the game.
My granddad built a log cabin that we slept in, and we used to listen to that radio, and in them days it was the old Sacramento Solons out of the Coast League, and you know that come in good at night, and they was an hour behind us, and we'd listen to them games. Me and my brother till, you know, it'd be midnight to...
He still stays up till midnight catching games on radio. He picks up the Giants on a San Francisco station. His favorite major league team is and always has been St. Louis, but the Beehive League and the Sox are what matters most to Richard Hansen. He spent his own money some years to keep Smithfield going, and he's invested even more energy and time to make them winners. If his farm looks a little run down in August, you have to understand.
Things go to pot around there for 3 or 4 months every year, but you either got to get in or get out, is my theory. I mean, we've got too many people that's halfway in, and we've missed a lot of things over the years. I told one of my brothers when he got married, I says, now don't be scheduling on game day here, or I'd like to come, you know.
Kimber Hall claims Richard Hansen's strength is that easygoing manner. The fact is,
I've been in this now for 39 years, and I've never been through out of a game in my life, and I hope I don't.
What umpire would dare? To throw Hansen out of a game would be slapping history smack in the face, because this past week, Hansen watched his 1,000th Smithfield victory as manager. Now, there's no way of knowing if that millennial milestone is some sort of semi-pro record, but But considering the number of losses is, quote, 300 and some, the 1,000 wins are remarkable.
It's kind of a magical number, I guess, but we're not, we get 1,000 wins. I haven't considered quitting yet, so.
2,000?
Second 1,000 might be the hardest.
Hansen might still be managing the club when that happens. See, he's not ready to turn his team over to just anybody. He wants the right man to succeed him. Someone who will love the Sox the way he has. Someone who's willing to let things go to pot around the farm for a few months. Someone who would skip his brother's wedding in order to coach the Blue Sox of Smithfield.
I guess someday somebody will come along that we can turn it over to, I hope. Every other program's always had somebody, haven't they?
Oh, they have, all right. But they've never had to follow Richard Hansen.
You know, the thing about him that I found, he's a baseball man, right? Loves baseball. Hope we got that in the story. Where was he 20 years ago yesterday? You know the question everybody was asking?
Yeah.
He was at a Giants game in Candlestick Park, and he said it was really neat because they stopped the game and told everybody the man had landed on the moon and that. But that's where he, only fitting that Richard Hansen 20 years ago yesterday.
What else?
Was at a ballpark, yeah.
The people that are on his team, what do they do for the summer? They're not making any money playing ball. How are they making
Well, they're just, a lot of them are college students who are playing baseball in the summertime to keep their skills going. You know, they can't play professionally, so they'll, whatever any college kid is doing these days, hopefully a summer job. Some of them, like Kimber we saw, now he's a school teacher in Preston, Idaho, and a coach there, but in the summer he drives a gas truck, so, you know, just what the rest of us do, only they play baseball on top of it, usually Tuesday and Saturday nights.
And they got to play somebody, so what are the other teams that are in
Well,
the
the
league?
Beehive League, there's teams in Ogden, the University of Utah fields a team, Kaysville has a team, you know, they travel out. It used to be in the Cache Valley, though, I understand, where all the teams in that valley, Hiram used to have a team, Logan, Smithfield, etc., etc., and those teams have died, except for the Sox.
Get out there and check them out, I guess.
Yeah.
Steve, thanks very much for being here.
Thanks for having me. Of course, the Tour and the Open are rich in tradition, but neither event has anything on the summertime pastime in Smithfield.
It's a Friday evening in July in Smithfield, farm country where most of the chores are finished for another week, and it's time to head into town. At the main theater, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure attracts the town's younger folks, but a few blocks away, the longest-running show in Smithfield is getting ready for another performance.
Play ball.
As far as I'm concerned, Smithfield Blue Sox in the summertime is the best thing in Cache Valley.
It's somewhere right around 90 years to 100 now since they've had organized baseball in Smithfield continuously.
It used to be in Utah, and particularly the Cache Valley, that almost every town had a team, but over the years the numbers dropped and the interest waned. But not in Smithfield, where America's pastime is far more than a phrase.
Everybody knows in the valley about the Blue Sox.
And they know after 16 summers with the Sox, Kimber will retire at the end of the season.
For out number 3.
Willis Hall is in his 16th year as public address announcer at the home games.
That old kid reached the country mile to get that. If you like that, folks, let him know about it.
He tells you more than most announcers, but Willis Hall is just like the rest of the Smithfield supporters. He gives a little more. He does a little more.
Ground ball foul.
But no man has done more for the Sox than Richard Hansen. 39 years ago, he joined the team as a player. 27 years ago, he became manager.
No, Richard Hansen's a guy that's baseball crazy.
If his farm looks a little run down in August, you have to understand.
Things go to pot around there for 3 or 4 months every year, but you either got to get in or get out. I told one of my brothers when he got married, I says, now don't be scheduling on game day here, or I'd like to come, you know.
But he'd rather go to the game, where he'll probably watch another Blue Sox win. Like last Saturday, Smithfield came from behind to beat Utah for Hansen's 1,000th victory as manager.
It's kind of a magical number, I guess, but we're not, we get 1,000 wins. I haven't considered quitting yet, so.
2,000?
Second 1,000 might be the hardest.
I don't know. Since he got 1,000 last week, he's won 3 more, so he has 1,003 victories. And finally, just about 100 minutes, Mike Tyson takes on the Truth in Atlantic City in that heavyweight championship fight. We'll tell you what happens at 10.
I have heard of the Blue Sox. It's been a while. I'd forgotten. But
Oh,
yeah,
you're just
they've been
trying to
no,
make me
no.
feel bad.
I don't want to answer the phone call from people in Smithfield, darn it.
Okay, I'll
All right.
take them all.
But I have.
Steve. Can you get your name again, sir?
Willis Hall.
Willis, how long have you been going to the games up here?
Oh, since about 1965.
And what about the coach here? That's quite a record, 998 wins.
Well, I've known Richard Hansen for a lot longer than that. I played against Smithfield years and years ago, and he's been the manager of this team ever since I can remember. Back even to the days when they built this park and Merle Van Orden was the mayor. So Richard's been connected with him for, oh gosh, I can't tell you how long, way back in the 30s. Either as a player or as a coach. And to have played long enough to won as many games as he has, 998, I believe. He had to have been here a long time because that takes a lot of baseball playing every summer.
How big is this team to the city of Smithfield?
Oh, it's a big thing here. I think this program they probably give you will indicate that there's a lot of people that support Smithfield baseball. They've won a lot of state championships over the year. And they've gone to things like in Kansas City where they have that amateur tournament. They go to California and Nevada to play. They'll play about 60 games a year.
Is it fun?
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't fun. And I'm sure that my boy and the others who have played long periods of time with them wouldn't have been here either.
What kind of a guy is Richard to coach for this many years?
I don't think he ever made an enemy in his world. He gets along with everybody. He even has some hard time pitching all the pitchers as much as they'd like to pitch, but they don't any of them leave. And if they do, they come back. So he's been pretty likable all the way around.
He must have a considerable winning record to stick around this long.
Well, it's at least 3/4 wins.
Do you know any other coaches who've got that many wins?
Good heavens, no. And I don't know anybody in the state of Utah that has this kind of support. And I don't know anybody that has the Lions Club of the city of Smithfield to furnish them hamburgers and hot dogs and cold drinks. They're here every game. It takes an effort on the part of everybody to have a team like Smithfield.
Great.
First three the same?
I'm just getting some balls there. Yeah, we got about the same, haven't we?
You want to clean up, Winston?
Put him in there. Scorebook's down there too, okay, underneath there.
Going around, there we go now, come on. Shot back there.
Here's a ball from the pitcher, Johnny.
The out, there we go. All right. Come on. Where's the balls?
There's a bag there.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
Channel 5 is here tonight. So you want to look your darndest and smile your prettiest. Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Well, I haven't seen it. He went 5 foot.
There, pick it up and throw it.
I saw him doing it. He was working it smooth the other night.
I can do it, Johnny. How many more is coming, Smith?
Yep, exactly.
Richard, we need a lineup from the Ogden team. Mark Ward and Frank Stevens will do the umpiring tonight. Ward will be behind the plate. Stevens will be doing the bases. Looks like we're going to have...
Excuse me.
I wouldn't help you much as far as playing for you. I can throw, but I'm not... To the right. Center. Put Smith at first, his arm shot.
Looks like for the Blue Sox, we got Scott Elliott behind the plate. We got Scott Stransky on the mound. Kimber on first base. On ball to the third backer. Oh, the first time.
Oh, man, that's two.
There's a pop fly. Stransky has it. Off number 3. And we'll go.
We don't have another catcher.
And Paul Lindstrom walks. Kimber holds the batter. Jonathan Howell on deck. Chuck Elliott in the hole.
Pretty good pitch. It looks pretty. Come on, down. Go Timber.
One run scored.
Okay. You can leave this here.
1-1. No, 1-2. Beg your pardon. No ball. 2 strikes. There's a high fly ball.
Squeeze it.
Short comes the batter. I don't want to see old Chuck Elliott out of the bat. He'll let him bat first. Then Adam.
Got Big Daddy printed on.
There's a high fly ball in center field.
That was planned. That was planned. Hold it up. With you, that's 2.
Kick out of it, I guess.
You sound all right.
Or I wouldn't be here.
0-2. Scott Elliott the batter. Rick Thorne is on deck. There's a high fly ball back to second base. And the second sacker has it for out number 3. And that retires the side. We'll go at the top of the 3rd inning.
We finally got a lineup on them, didn't we?
Lead off batter.
That isn't Harris. Jeff Harris? Or Jeff Heron? I can't read this man's writing. Bing, can you make that out?
What do you want?
H-A-R-R-I-N, is that what it is?
Aaron.
Jeff Heron is on deck. 1-1.
This old Belknap fellow, he's brought some good ball players up here in years gone by, but I don't know what's happened.
1-2. Ground ball foul down the right field line. 1-2. Matt Lane, the batter. Foul ball, the count remains the same. 1-2. Kids.
You're trying to tell him what he's like, what he's all about. You know, just came in from another planet. Who's Richard Hansen?
No, Richard Hansen's a guy that's baseball crazy. I have the opportunity of seeing Richard in the wintertime and all parts of the year, and he's got baseball on his mind every time you see him. He wants to talk baseball.
Not farming?
Well, a little bit of farming, but mostly baseball. He loves the baseball, and he follows the major leagues real well, and he knows every ball game that you've ever played as a Blue Sox. He can remember situations, he can remember games, he can remember who's made the winning hits of certain games from years past. It's unbelievable.
When it comes to Smithfield VIPs, you know, prestigious people who live in Smithfield and in that community, where does he stand?
Well, when you're talking baseball, not only in Smithfield, in Cache Valley, Richard Hansen's name comes up because ever since I was a kid, there was a Blue Sox, and Richard Hansen was the guy that was running it. And I believe that if Richard Hansen wasn't in Smithfield right now, there wouldn't be much of a baseball league in the state of Utah, because I think he keeps it going. He's always fielded a real good ball team, and he's always there to make sure the meetings go well and to make sure that teams have teams to play.
You make him sound perfect, though. I mean, is he? You ought to know. I mean, 16 years, you've got to...
Well, he has faults like all the rest of us, but when it comes to baseball, he's pretty perfect. The favorite thing I get about Richard is when it's time to take a pitcher out, or else he wants to make a move at a pinch hit or something. He doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. He always wants to know, now, fella, are you all right? I mean, let me make this move, or you think you're okay? And he doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, and sometimes that gets in the way, and Richard ought to make some changes sometimes, but that's just Richard.
Would you have been doing this for 16 years if it weren't for him?
Oh, probably not. Like, he's been a family friend, and I just like to play, and it's fun to play for Richard because he always has a trip during the year. We usually go to Las Vegas or California or somewhere, and he makes it enjoyable.
Does he care about 1,000 wins?
You know, I haven't heard him say much about it, and I think he does. I don't think he's letting it show, but it's got to mean something to Richard. I got thinking about that the other day. I've been with him for 16 years, and we usually win about 40 games a year, and he's over 30 years. I don't know how many years he's been coaching, but that's quite a long time.
Does he know exactly is he the kind of guy that knows his record?
Well, I don't know if he knew it exactly. I think the people like Chad Bunn and some of the others have kept track of this for him and kind of brought this up at this season.
Is he a gracious winner?
Very gracious winner. And,
is he a good loser?
He's a very good loser. Richard doesn't let anything upset him. I mean, he might get disgusted at a call or something, but Richard's a very easygoing man, and if a ball player gets mad at him, it just goes in one ear and out the other, and he forgets about it.
Last thing, when it, really, how important are the Blue Sox in Smithfield? I mean, really, when you look at life and all that, what are why care?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the Smithfield Blue Sox in the summertime is the best thing in Cache Valley, and I don't know what a lot of people in Smithfield come and support the Blue Sox. I mean, we have the Lions there that prepare meals every game, every home game, and we have some loyal supporters that come and park their cars before 2 or 3 hours before the ball game, and everybody knows in the valley about the Blue Sox. You'll run into people. I run a gas truck, and wherever I go, somebody's been reading about the Blue Sox and want to talk about baseball.
As a coach now, have you learned anything from Hansen?
Yeah, I have, and his disposition. Can't have a hard time pronouncing that word, but he's an easygoing guy. He loves the game, and he works hard at it. And no matter what sport you're coaching at, you've got to be able to get along with people and get the best out of them.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, appreciate it. When did the baseball bug bite you?
Oh, I suppose I've had it since I was just probably 10 or 12 years old, that it got me pretty good.
How come then? What was it? Was it any one thing? Was it getting your first glove? Was it seeing somebody?
Well, when I was just a young kid, my folks' house was, well, quite a small house. Only had a couple of bedrooms, and there was five of us boys. And my granddad built a log cabin that we slept in, and we used to listen to that radio, and in them days it was the old Sacramento Solons. out of the Coast League, and you know that come in good at night, and they was an hour behind us, and we'd listen to them games. Me and my brother till, you know, it'd be midnight to later at night. We got to listen to those games, you know, and then I picked up on just kind of Major League ball at that time too, and started following that pretty close. And we didn't have access to all little leagues and pony leagues that the kids do now. It seemed like American Legion was about the first baseball that was, you know, available at that time.
First time you played organized ball, American Legion?
I suppose the American Legion would have been it. We played a little softball there, you know, church softball, that type of thing. But American Legion ball, I suppose that would be the first there. I played a little bit in high school there, 2 years. But
you ever any good?
I wasn't what you'd call a good ball player myself. In fact, I played a couple of years in high school, and as a senior, I stuck strictly to track and done a little better there.
How come? What kept you from being a great ball? I mean, did you dream when you were 10 or 12 or even 14 or 16 of playing in the majors? Or playing for Sacramento Solons?
No, I don't know as I ever got into that particularly on that level. I just, I guess I was more of a fan at that time, and you just kind of picked it up, you know, and then started in American Legion and played a little bit there. Played with this team a little bit there. In fact, another fellow and myself used to kid about it, that we come on about the middle of the season that one year, and we was lucky we got in 2 ball games. We was just glad to have a uniform and be on the bench, you know. Kids are not quite that diehard anymore.
How about the kids nowadays in coaching? What differences have you seen from the first? You've been managing, is this your 30th year?
Well, this is the 27th year I've been managing, but I've been with the team for 39 years, so I've been here for a long time. And I guess it's a little different than they are. The kids are not as hungry for it now, as many of them. In when I come out of the Army and that, and before I went in, you know, there was like maybe 50, 60 guys trying out for the city team. Right out, they all had to live in the city at that time. And that, there was a league up there, 15 teams in Cache Valley, and you had to live in the town that you played for, basically. And they made some adjustments here and there, people that moved, but hey, that was it. I mean, you know, now the kids has got so much going that it's hard to find a half a dozen out of a big town that really interested in getting into baseball that heavy.
Would the Blue Sox still be around if you'd ever quit managing?
Oh, I suppose maybe somebody took it over, maybe not on the scale that it's on. I've had some of the younger guys think that I started the program up there. I said, that thing's 60 years or 50 years older than me. It goes back a long time, and we used to play locally, but we just picked it up a lot since I got into running it a little bit more.
How old are the Blue Sox?
Well,
from what you know,
the team we know is getting. I've got a guy in the Historical Society that's working on that up there, and he's trying to find exactly when they did start there, but it's somewhere right around 90 years to 100 now since they've had organized baseball in Smithfield continuously. So we kind of figure we might have maybe the oldest program west of the Mississippi of this type that's been in existence for that many years.
And you're the winningest manager in club history, right? I mean, you got to be.
Well, I don't think anybody else would have stuck around that long.
Why did you? Why have you?
Well, I don't know. I guess it just become a way of life, and you get committed, and I don't know. I enjoy working with these guys, this type of guys. I worked with, I guess I worked with boys for a long time when I was younger. I don't know how I found time to do that when I got out of the Army and that. I had a church bishop out there that put me in Scoutmaster, and I did that for about 17 years, and then I run some Explorer Scouts and a few things like that for several years also. But so I guess I've just always liked to work with boys and kids. And
you know baseball?
Oh, I think I can keep up with it about as good as anybody. I don't quite follow the major leagues as strong as I used to. What I mean is I follow it every day, but I mean each individual player. When I was younger, I could probably name you 90% of the guys that played in major leagues, but not quite that much anymore. Only a few.
88%?
Yeah, only a few of the teams that I follow pretty close.
Where'd you learn your baseball? Growing up or following the majors? Was there anybody you studied and said?
No, I don't think so. I don't have anything like that particularly that I followed, or anyone particularly. Of course, all my guys know, and everybody knows I'm a die-hard St. Louis Cardinal fan, have been forever, and I've been back there a few times, and we follow them. We know exactly what happens there every day. I do follow the Giants quite close because I listen to them on KMBR about every night.
Yeah.
I was on last night till midnight.
Kevin Mitchell, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You ever met Whitey Herzog?
No, I haven't.
Stan Musial?
Stan was probably one of my favorite guys, and guys in some of the earlier years, some of my guys used to call me Enos after Enos Slaughter. He was probably my idol way back.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just got involved with them, and they were winning when I was a kid. 42, 43, and 4 was when they was in the World Series every year. And that's when I was like, see, I was born in 30, so you see I was along in there 12, 13, 14 years old along in there when they was winning. And then again in 46, I can remember that the Cardinals played the Red Sox in the World Series in 46. That's the one that people still talk about, Slaughter scoring from first on a single in that game. And I remember we was playing football there in the fall, and we had a game that afternoon. I remember some of the high school coaches was a little upset with us. We was listening to the baseball game when we ought to be getting psyched out for the football game, you know, getting dressed and ready to go.
How about first game you managed? Do you remember that game?
Well,
do you remember your first win?
No, I guess I probably don't. And the reason for that probably, although I did start managing in 63 and dropped it a year, I technically did a lot of managing for a year or two before that, probably, or 3. I was the business manager for, I was that for 7 or 8 years before I got into this, and so I did some managing there, quite a little part-time before I actually took it over, so I probably wasn't that good of a player, so this type of club I couldn't make, you know.
How about, you guys ever been to the NBC tournament?
Yeah. We've been to the Wichita. I've been back there a few times, and I got out of it because of, it's a little bit, took a lot of money, and it's hard. You used to have to win that thing. You'd have to stay back there 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I took it. I don't know, it was my best club. 1966, we took a team that went 38-5 and went back there, and we went into Liberal, Kansas, and split 2 games in there with them, and they'd been second in the national tournament the year before. That's the baseball hotbed in the country there at Liberal. They have big signs there on coming in and going out of town, the baseball capital of the U.S., and they probably are. They bring in a hired professional manager, usually a college coach, and they recruit players. And then we went in on to Wichita, and we won our first game, and we got beat, I guess it was 5-2 by the Eureka Humboldt Crabs. Sandy Vance later went with the Dodgers for years. He beat us that day, and we had a good shot. We left 10 on in the first 5 innings. Then it got raining back there, and it rained for 4 days, and we wasn't scheduled for 2 more, and so I had a lot of guys need to get back to work, so actually we come back, and the guy, they don't like it when you pull out of them, but I don't think the guy was too unhappy because they'd rained so many days, they'd backed up so many teams that it was getting bad. They was putting them on high school fields, and in fact, one year we did play one out on a high school field. So we've been back there. I've been back there a couple of other times also.
Okay, a couple more here then. Ready? What's your wife said about all this through the years? She ever say, Richard, enough's enough?
Yeah, that's frustrating. It still goes on. It's a little bit today, not today, but you get so involved that it's, you know, it's a basically day-by-day thing, you know. My players are all very local right now, except I have 3 pitchers that don't live in Cache Valley, where a few years ago it was a little different than that. And when Weber State still had the program over there, why, I had some ties there. I had a couple of my players that played at Weber State, and Blaine Sylvester was the coach there at Weber State there, and he'd like to send half of them up for the season just because of a full schedule, you know. And so, but now my guys are all pretty much local. And
what about your wife, though? Didn't she ever say at one time, "I encourage you to retire"?
Well, she thinks I'm in it a little too deep, and sometimes I suppose I am. Things go to pot around there for 3 or 4 months every year, but you either got to get in or get out, is my theory. I mean, we've got too many people that's halfway in, and that's what I run into playing occasionally.
Yeah. You ever think about retiring? Thought crossed your mind?
No, I haven't necessarily. This spring, I had a bad back. Nothing serious, but I usually have to go up and have the chiropractor work me over every year. And this spring, it was towards this April there, and I thought, boy, I might be done. I can't get around like I was having a hard time, but he got me going, and I'm getting around. And I'll say that's the number one thing with me in my baseball has been good health. I mean, you know, like I say, I've just been with it, and I've probably, like I say, missed a couple of games in the last 30 years, and there's only one of them that was ever planned, you know, and that was a couple of years ago. Otherwise, I mean, you know, baseball is it, and that's it. When the summer starts, we've missed a lot of things over the years. I told one of my brothers when he got married, I says, now don't be scheduling on game day here, or I'd like to come, you know.
How about, okay, back to 1,000. When you get 1,000 wins, say you win here today, one of these games, is it just going to, what goes through your mind?
No, I don't know. I didn't think too much about it. I think it's just another game here. If we don't get it today, we'll maybe get it Tuesday back in Smithfield. But, it's kind of a magical number, I guess, but we're not, we get 1,000 wins. I haven't considered quitting yet, so.
2,000?
Second 1,000 might be the hardest.
Okay.
Oh, I think if I could find if the right guy comes along that could manage the team, maybe a younger guy would do a little better than me. I don't know, but.
You're not going to turn this team over to just anybody, are you?
Well, no, and you know, if I was just running the business end, there's a lot of things we do. We run a lot of promotions up there. We have some nights for some of our veteran old ball players and these kind of things. Our program is a program, not just a team. We have a directors meeting. We have a dinner in the fall. You know, it's kind of an ongoing thing. We're really backed by the Smithfield Lions up there. I run the stand, and those people, some of those guys know more about what's going on than I do, you know, at the ballpark. So we are followed pretty close up there, and so I think that I guess someday somebody will come along that we can turn it over to. I hope. Every other program's always had somebody, haven't they? Although a lot of programs has died down when somebody dropped out of it, I guess. But
To today's leg of the Tour de France. Greg LeMond won the stage, but Laurent Fignon and Pedro Delgado finished there with the same time, so the overall standings remain the same with LeMond 50 seconds behind Fignon. Of course, the Tour and the Open are rich in tradition, but neither event has anything on the summertime pastime in Smithfield. It's a Friday evening in July in Smithfield, farm country where most of the chores are finished for another week, and it's time to head into town. At the main theater, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure attracts the town's younger folks, but a few blocks away, the longest-running show in Smithfield is getting ready for another performance.
Play ball.
As far as I'm concerned, the Smithfield Blue Sox in the summertime is the best thing in Cache Valley.
It's somewhere right around 90 years to 100 now since they've had organized baseball in Smithfield continuously.
It used to be in Utah, and particularly the Cache Valley, that almost every town had a team, but over the years the numbers dropped and the interest waned. But not in Smithfield, where America's pastime is far more than a phrase.
Everybody knows in the valley about the Blue Sox.
And they know after 16 summers with the Sox, Kimber Hall will retire at the end of the season.
For out number 3.
Willis Hall is in his 16th year as public address announcer at the home games.
That old kid reached the country mile to get that. If you like that, folks, let him know about it.
He tells you more than most announcers, but Willis Hall is just like the rest of the Smithfield supporters. He gives a little more. He does a little more.
Ground ball foul.
But no man has done more for the Sox than Richard Hansen. 39 years ago, he joined the team as a player. 27 years ago, he became manager.
Oh, Richard Hansen's a guy that's baseball crazy.
If his farm looks a little run down in August, you have to understand.
Things go to pot around there for 3 or 4 months every year, but you either got to get in or get out. I told one of my brothers when he got married, I says, now don't be scheduling on game day here, or I'd like to come, you know.
But he'd rather go to the game, where he'll probably watch another Blue Sox win. Like last Saturday, Smithfield came from behind to beat Utah for Hansen's 1,000th victory as manager.
It's kind of a magical number, I guess, but we're not, we get 1,000 wins. I haven't considered quitting yet, so.
2,000?
Second 1,000 might be the hardest.
I don't know. Since he got 1,000 last week, he's won 3 more, so he has 1,003 victories. And finally, just about 100 minutes, Mike Tyson takes on the Truth in Atlantic City in that heavyweight championship fight. We'll tell you what happens at 10.
I have heard of the Blue Sox. It's been a while. I'd forgotten. But
oh,
yeah,
you're just
they've been
trying to make me feel bad.
I don't want to answer the phone call from people in Smithfield, darn it.
Okay, I'll take them all.
But I have.
Steve. Well, coming up, you'll see a couple of Utahns who had a very profitable trip.
Hey, John, you got to get through quick, man. What? You get there quick. Get there before the second out of the double play. Hey, that's not bad.
2 outs, 1 strike.
Hold on. That's a good block. Good block, catcher.
Come on now, Kim Hall. Gotta be one in the house there.
Hey, pitch you can drive 1-6.
Run it over Chad.
Oof.
Good pitch now, Kimber.
Hey, slow fast ball there, John. There you go, Kim.
Full count on the batter. 2 men on, 1 man away.
Hey, there you go. Come on, Lindy.
Come on, that walk.
Draw the 1. Ball lit the batter.
Get it out of that infield, Paul. Just strikes now, Paul. All right, we gotta go on the ground now, Jimmy. I'm walking. Gotta go on the ground now, Paul.
Thanks, guy. Everybody 1-4. It's ball hard now, walk.
Out of the way. Out of the way. You're a little better one now, Paul. If I've been up to here. Gotta go hard on the ground now.
Go, 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 go!
Good one.
Here we go now.
Good one.
Yes.
There's a ball against the right field.
Now.
One run.
Hey, attaboy, Paul! Attaboy, Paul! Come on now, Rob, Bolton!
Here's a hit now, Rob. Come on now.
Have a day now, Rob.
Two down.
Two balls, one strike.
Oh, go, go, go!
But it's brown.
Forehand. Got a blue one too. One hand.
No.
They're all cut.
Take that. I don't want to hold it. You hold it.
That's fine.
Willis, get in the pitch. Right.
Quit your hiding. That's fine. Let's get you guys.
For Eagle Hard.
We're about to going down. It's on the item side.
One of those other places Big out. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob. That's about it right
And many in the state of Utah. It is due to Richard Hansen that baseball is alive and well in Cache Valley today. Probably not only Cache Valley, but in the state of Utah as well. A lot of players have come and gone, but the face down in the third base coaching box never changes. Unless it's like a game or something like that. In case you get a burger. For most people, baseball games begin top of the first inning, end at the bottom of the seventh or the ninth inning. Things are a little different for Richard, though. Seems like an 8 to 5 job for him would be something like a vacation. Seems like his schedule, especially during the summertime, runs a little more like midnight to midnight. All of the little details that most people take for granted around here at the Blue Sox Park are thoroughly taken care of by Richard. From arranging a 60-game season schedule to making sure the restrooms have plenty of toilet paper, Richard pretty well does it all. Ralph Roylance, who is very prominent here in Cache Valley and a former Blue Sox player, says that Richard Hansen is about the most solid human being I know. I consider him a great friend. He has literally sacrificed his life for baseball in Smithfield. He has really paid the ultimate price. He is a man that knows sports so well. You can visit with him for a half hour, and it seems like you have only been visiting for 5 minutes. He has definitely had an impact on the people and the community in Smithfield, Utah. And I'd like to add a little something to Ralph right there. It's pretty tough to visit with Richard for just half an hour. Some of my memories of Richard is that, basically he's the one that's kept everything together with the Blue Sox. They're consistently one of the best and toughest teams in the state of Utah. It takes an awful lot of work, an awful lot of dedication on his part. Basically, I think it comes from just his nature, his personality. How he can get along with so many people, keep a lot of egotistical ball players, pardon that expression, keep them somewhat happy. With this many guys and just out here for the fun of it and everything, there's always going to be somebody that's not quite as happy as they should be. And Richard's always had the ability to be able to smooth the troubled waters. I always felt that he had a great philosophy about the game. sometimes I didn't agree with him. When I first started playing, he always thought that, the guy that was there every night was the one that was going to win the ball game, night in and night out. The longer I played, the more that I saw that was true. I really consider Richard a great friend and respect him for the great knowledge he has for the game of baseball. A couple of my personal recollections. One time we was lost in Sunnyvale, California, one of the great lines of all time. I've used it consistently ever since. So as long as we're here, we might as well see the place. I've only had one grudge that I've held against Richard for all these years. Back in the early 70s, I was playing a game down in Murray. All those players didn't show up that were supposed to. In particular, the pitcher, he made me pitch, and he played left field. That's rather tentative, either way you look at it. It was a pretty close ball game. They had a couple, they was ahead 2 or 3 runs. They got a couple of hits at the start of an inning. Nice little fly ball out to left field. It hits for me to about Jim Maynard away from Richard. He just didn't get it. He comes in and takes me out. I thought I could have helped. I think Richard will be the first to tell you that some of the accomplishments with the Blue Sox that have come his way also belong to a lot of others in his life. His wife, Claudine, basically during the summertime, if she wants to see him, she comes to the ballpark, talks to him between games, maybe sticks around after for a minute. Of course, daughters Amy and Emily. No telling how many times I've called out there and found out a schedule, who was driving, whatever. Amy and Emily were the ones that gave me the information on that. Of course, David and Paul, do a lot of chores, run the farm, all back up. We say playing ball. Of course, the city of Smithfield, they provide a place to play here, pay the power bill, take care of the field. A lot of cooperation on their part. The Smithfield Lions, not only for the great burgers and the Lion Pups, but for the very generous contributions they make to the club every year. Of course, the board of directors, who try to do as much as they can for Richard, but I think when you look at the whole picture, it's not very much. And of course, lastly, but not in the least, all of the players, both past and present, that I think have befriended Richard, and he was in turn befriended them, and really, gave him the opportunity to become successful and do what he does very well and enjoys a lot, and that's to manage the Blue Sox. Basically the reason why we're here tonight is Richard just reached a great milestone with the Blue Sox, getting his 1000th victory, and that's amazing. When you look at the number of games played that with him as the manager. And did you ever really want to manage, Rick? Did you ever really want to be the coach?
I don't know.
He says he really don't know about that. Sometimes I've had the feeling he just rather get things running and let somebody else do the coaching, but he's done a fantastic job in that regard. We congratulate you on this, Rich, and we promise to come back to the ballpark and be with you when you get 2,000. The way things are going, that shouldn't be very long, should it? Okay. Well, thank you, Richard. Turn the time over to Paul.
Well, I guess it's about time for the second game to start. Well, I don't know what to say, but I have to present these to Richard's wife because she deserves a lot. And if we just went along with it without giving her something of our appreciation, I think I speak for the club. I'm going to give her these dozen roses. Okay, 4 years ago I came up here to play for the Blue Sox, thinking I was going to school, and I stuck around one summer, and I've been here every summer since. And I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world right now because I have a lot of memories here now. I don't know how long, much longer I'm going to be playing here, but I hope I can come back and watch Rich's 2000th win. And I don't hope it's as enjoyable as this 1,000th win. But I think I speak for all the Blue Sox and everything is thank you very much for giving us the chance to play. And on behalf, and congratulating you on your 1,000 win, if I can find it here. Now on behalf of the Lions Club, Smith City of Smithfield, the Booster Club, from all the alumni and the players themselves, we'd like to present a gold watch to Richard Hansen for his 1,000 win. I guess I'll give him a word or two to say.
Well, I don't think I ought to say much, and I may not be able to anyway, but I'd like to thank everybody that works with us here. I may be doing a lot here, but I got a lot of people backing me. And this line stand and these board of directors, the board of directors has really raised a lot of funds for us the last few years and made us go here. Appreciate the city. They're behind us 100% here with the park, and especially the ball players. These guys are dedicated. Some of you know what goes on here. You just Thursday night we go to Ogden, get in a wild doubleheader over there. The first game don't get over until about 10:15. The second one starts at 20 to 11. We get home about 2 o'clock in the morning. Here we are back again. But this is the way these guys operate, and I've got a lot of them that's here every night. And that's the only way the program goes. And then also, we'd like to thank all you people. There's an awful lot of people here that come most of the nights, and I see a lot of you, and I'd like to get out and visit with you, but when I get to the ballpark, my wife says I don't even say anything to her sometimes. So, I don't know. I guess it's just the way it is. So, thanks to everybody, and appreciate everybody that helps. And, of course, the people that really help us on a day-to-day basis has been the people up in the stand there, Willis Hall, and Otto Gardner, and Sharon Bingham, and Chad Bunn here when he's around. Those people go on the every day-to-day of this. And, of course, the line stand, and Vic Bingham really helps us a lot, too. And there's all the other people, too, and so we'll just say thanks to everybody.
In the Lions shed there, that's baked up celebrating the 1,000th victory. So anytime you want to go down there and have some sweet cake, just go right ahead and help yourself.